Hello again, my name is Jason Winokur, and I'm one of the developers of Offworld Trading Company. In this tutorial, we are going to show the preferred way of modding XMLs. But first, let's review the way we modded the XML in the first tutorial. So I'm going to open up My Documents, My Games, Offworld, Mods, and then the name of our first mod was Test Mod. Inside there was the data folder and one XML, which was a straight copy of the original HQ.xml. HQ stands for headquarters. And so inside our file was all of the original HQ data with the single field different. And so this works as long as the game data never changes, which it does pretty much every single patch. And so this method is brittle. And the preferred method is to only change the fields that you want to change and leave all the rest to be the defaults. So I'm going to create a new mod. I'm going to call it Test Mod 2. Inside there, open a new window. I'm going to create a new folder where we can put our XMLs. It needs to be called data. And then inside there, instead of putting the original, which can be found in the reference folder, instead of putting the original hq.xml, I'm going to put a new file which has the same file name, hq.xml, except I'm going to append the word -change. And this tells the game that only the fields that are in here need to be changed, and all the rest should still come from the original hq.xml. And so let me populate that so we can get a similar result to the first one. Put this on the right-hand side so we can copy values over. And so what we want to accomplish is to take HQ expansive and give it, let me close these entries, XML tags need to be closed. So we want to take HQ expansive and just change this one field. And so in our HQ-change file, all we need is to say what type we want to modify and then the field that we want to modify. And for this test, I'm going to change it to 2000 just so we know we're running a different mod than the first test, which was only 1000. And so I'm going to launch the game and play a single-player skirmish just to test this out. We need to switch to our mod first, though. That's in the Options Gameplay tab. In Game Mod, I'm going to switch to Test Mod 2. And now single-player skirmish, and play that. And if I plop down an expansive HQ, now we have 2005 claims remaining. And so this accomplishes the same thing that we did in the first tutorial, but this is much better because it only impacts this one field, and all the other fields can be upgraded whenever new patches come out. They get upgraded automatically. So as another example for the different things that you can change in mods, I'm going to change the text here. So the bonus text, which you see when you mouse over that HQ button, I'm going to change to a tag called text HQ expansive new. Now this tag does not exist, and so we need to add it. Text HQ expansive new. And so the way we add tags is to create a new file, and we name it the same as one of the existing XMLs. The one we want to modify is text-infos, that's where the original was. But we want to add a new entry that wasn't in the original. And so we do text-infos-add.xml. So similarly to change, we append the word add to the end of the file name, and now the game knows that all the entries that are in here are going to be brand new entries, and to upgrade all the original entries and then append these new entries. And so I'm going to open up that, put it over here, take this one, and let's look at something from the original text infos as an example of what kind of fields that we can put in here. And so I'm just going to grab this block and modify that one. I'm going to close the root, remove this comment. Now one special thing about the text infos is that if you don't want to populate all the languages, you can just leave them blank and they will all default to whatever you put in the English field. And so we want this to be text HQ expansive new. And this is a new entry that does not exist in the originals. And I'm going to say that modding is cool, because it is. And now if we run the game this time, then the mouse over will link to our newly added text tag. We're still playing test mod 2. It remembers the mod that you had last selected. Skirmish, single player, play game. And so if I mouse over expansive, we now see that the help text says modding is cool, and these other ones are unchanged. Now for the last example, the third way that you can change the XMLs without replacing all of the original XML is by having a file called, a new file, and I'm going to call it remove.xml. And the game will search for a file called remove.xml, and inside that we have root, and then we close the root, and a list of entries. And inside each one of these entries is one of the Z types from any of these other XMLs. And so as an example, I'm going to remove the scientific HQ. So we go into hq.xml, and scientific is towards the bottom of it. And so we need to find the Z type for HQ scientific. And so it's HQ scientific. And we put that in there. And I'm also going to remove solar panels. So we go into building.xml and find the Z type for solar panels. Building solar panel. And I'm going to add another entry to say remove solar panels from the game. And so now if I run the game, it will have all of our other modifications, and solar panel and scientific HQ are going to be removed from the game. Let's test that out. So if you look down here, we have the expansive robotic scavenger HQs, but no scientific HQ. That's been removed from the game. If I place down an expansive HQ and I mouse over the power, we have wind turbine, geothermal plant, no solar panel. Solar panel has now been removed from the game. And so there you have it. Let's review the different types of XML that you can mod. I'll make this one a little bit bigger. So you can copy an entire XML into your mod folder, and that will replace the original. But anytime there's an update, it's probably going to break the mod. So instead, it's better if you take one of the original file names, add the word -change, and then only the fields that show up in here will be changed. All of the other fields that are not present here will remain the same as they were in the original. Also, if you wanted to add a completely new building or a completely new HQ or anything like that, then you create the file name -add.xml, and then whatever entries you put in here will be appended to the list, the original list of buildings or HQs or text. And the third type of XML is a special file called remove.xml, and it's a simple list of entries where each entry is one of the names of something one of the names of a type in any of these other original XMLs, and it'll remove these from the game completely. And that's it. The next tutorial will discuss how to mod the game using a C# DLL, where you can do much more in-depth things. Until next time, happy modding!